Hello everyone, welcome to episode sweet 16. Time is moving very fast. So I was like, there are assets of world maps and stuff. I was looking at them, some cool ones like this one right here. Like, yeah, that's a cool world map asset and all. It's not really fitting the Japanese city, because it's like classic houses and stuff, but there are other stuff in the palette, so it's probably usable for a world map. But I was like, I don't want to make you guys paint, so let's focus on the mechanics of things, because this is why you're here. I assume you already a lot of painting episodes, and we will still reskin some stuff as we go, but I mean, I want to save you guys boredom, basically. So this episode, I wanted to express something that was in my head for a few episodes. If you gave attention to what I said, you probably remember it. I want to make a sort of inception type to link what we do now to the RPG Kit demo, because the 2D RPG Kit demo, Rem wakes up in his bed, his mother turns on the light and she's like, yo, come in the kitchen. So what I want to do is to link, we're gonna create a new scene. The new scene will be like when you zone in the cavern there, and in that scene you will transition to waking up in your bed like, oh my god, this was all a nightmare, so this way we're gonna see how to link together everything we have done with the 2D RPG Kit demo. And why am I doing this? You will understand, because right now we only use the scenes that are outside of the title screen menu section. So right now, if you do a new game, or you will start by Rem waking up. So what I want to do, I want us, by using the title menu, new game, to start in the city with Mustache Man instead. And only when you go through all the things that we do right now, beating the guy, beating his mom, then you will like get to the scene where something will happen. You will wake up in the actual demo. And I think it is a fantastic way to make all the content recyclable, expendable individually. So this way, the teleport leading to Rem waking up, you can make the part we do now as long as you want until the inception, or you can just don't do the inception thing. It's optional, but I just think it's such a cool idea, and it will allow me to show you a lot of very important things that otherwise would have taken me many painting episodes and wasting everyone's time, including mine. So I made a list. I said most of it, but I'm gonna double check. So yeah, the title screen prefab is where we're gonna assign, I want the game to start from this scene instead, and then we're gonna change some stuff. We're gonna deal with what happens in this inception scenario, because now Hollis joined us here, but then we will wake up in the Twitter Kit demo. He will be there, he will join us again. We do not want two Hollis, so we will have to just deactivate him joining the party in the demo, and then we'll find a way to go back, because like I said, it's important to be able to revisit ancient part of the game. I think it's sad when the first bosses are the most interesting ones, but then you can never see them again. So the children, what they do is they start a new game and they just play the early game. It's like, oh geez, I've seen it happen so many times, almost every game. Well, mostly when he was younger. Now for the last year, he's in a try-hard mode. He's really pushing the 100%, which means I have to do the hard parts. Like a Mario Odyssey 100%. Oh, I had to spend maybe 3 hours doing the volleyball thing until I got the 100 hits with the Joy-Con drift. It was a nightmare. I'm up to my 5th Joy-Con controller. I spent more money on Joy-Cons than on the Switch itself. I got it for like 7 or 8 years. But still, it's atrocious. It was so atrocious with Joy-Con drift to do the 100% Mario Odyssey. Whatever. That being said, kids most likely they like to do early game. So we'll put something like on Rem's bed. Like, you want to go to bed, you know that you might just have a nightmare, and then it will put us back right in the what we build now, and you would have to go through it to wake up again. There is no way you will be able to wake up unless you go through your nightmare and your mother again. I think this makes the concept and everything, so it's genius, but maybe I'm not expressing it well, but you will see. Hopefully I make sense. And then next episode we will reskin all items and create new ones, and spell animation, I will show you how to make good effect magic, and then we'll be able to recycle it like on the stone when we break it and all those things. But for this episode, I really want to express this idea of mine, and in doing that we will learn so much, because you will understand how the game loads the scenes in what order and how to manipulate all that. It is a very important episode, whether you like or not the idea of this was a nightmare, but I think it's genius, because you will see, I think it's gonna be very good in the end. So yeah, I think this concludes the English introduction, so I hope that you will enjoy the episode. Thank you very much. So let's start by starting, guys. We have to create a new scene, because it will, if we want to make a teleport, there needs to be a scene to where it leads, you know. So we're gonna go into a template, save as. Right now I'm just gonna go into the regular to the RPG kit scenes demo folder. I'm gonna name it Inception. I'm gonna remove the capital I, because I mistake them for L's and it makes me angry. Just a joke, but I do hate capital I's. So once we created the scene, we just want to make a very, very simple palette. We're just gonna make a black background, you know, like a Undertale style, just something very simple. So I'm just gonna take the bucket and make this simple ground one layer black. Once that is done, I'm gonna move away the switchable layer. We're not gonna need it in this little cutscene like scene. After that, we're gonna make player start. I'm just gonna put it there. It's not necessary, but I like to do it as a good habit. And then we're gonna spawn the teleport. So now we have a scene where we can have a teleport lead. So we're gonna be able to put a teleport on the other side of Mother as well. But for now, I'm saying like I don't actually want you to go back outside of the cave. This is not the point of this teleport. This teleport is to make you appear here, and then you have to interact with whatever will be here. That will make you transition back into the demo game. So we do the whole thing where this is all a dream. So now I'm just copy pasting the name of the scene, because I will need it to put it there. So I named the teleporter Inception. I said where it leads. This is good enough for now, so save. Then we add the scene to the build settings, so we can zone, otherwise we will not be able to zone. So then we can do the same thing, but on this side. So spawn a teleporter, put it behind her, you know, because this one we're not gonna attach it, and it's not gonna like spawn on us. We're just gonna walk into the cavern entrance that will be freed since Mother will be gone. So I'm just looking at configuring the teleporter. So I name it Inception, and it leads to the scene Inception. So this one is very easy. Then I place it about like this. Then I'm gonna double check how the solid layer is, because we want to be sure that the player can zone. So I look, and oh, what do you know? To be safe, we have to make this a little bit bigger. Now I feel a lot more confident that this will work. Actually, now it's 100% will work. So now that I've configured this side, we're gonna be able to test the other side, but we're not gonna load the game on this side and kill all the bats and level up and deal with the boss. All the episode would last an hour longer if we were doing that manually. This is why we can just spawn directly in the other scene, and let's pretend that we've killed Mother like we did in past episode, and we'll kill her for real later, don't worry. You maniacs. So now what we want to is to choose an actor, you know, like what is gonna happen in the scene. This is where I was thinking, like, you know what, there is this Rem 2 sprite, you know, and if you notice, it's the same than Rem 1, it's just different hair color. So this is like the perfect sprite. This is like Rem's twin. So in this scene, we're gonna use him. So after defeating a mother, or what he thinks is mother anyway, he's gonna enter this dark black scene, which is like surreal because like there's no wall, there's no anything. He's just like in pitch blackness. But then he's gonna see literally his doppelganger or his twin, you know, just different hair color, but it's basically the same person. I mean, if you were to see yourself with different hair color, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's a different person. You would be like, why is me with different hair color in front of me, you know? So he's gonna like freak out, and he's gonna wake up into the demo and gonna be like, what just happened? And then we're gonna create a backstory for who that person is. And but we'll get to that later in the episode. I was just telling you all that it's why I'm choosing this guy, because he's gonna fit perfectly our psychological thriller narrative in which we are facing our family in this part of our dream, and even family members that we repressed mentally because they are gone, and that's all for you to develop in the game. So I'm just putting him there as a sprite. I put him a trigger, box collider. But like I said, I'm not doing the stuff where you can walk behind his head, and this is not important. This scene is just talk to him, and you're gonna warp in bed. So I'm gonna animate him with a walking animation, even though he's moving still, you know, because I want it to look creepy. So I name it a REM 2 walk down because that's basically what it is. It's way simple to remember. So in his sprite folder, I'm gonna choose his 4 sprites that are the walking down animation. So instead of using the idle animation, I decide that I want to use this one because I want to have effect like this is like a ghostly image, like he's not supposed to be there, and indeed he's probably dead or something. That's not disclosed as of yet. But he's like, I'm making him as slow as possible. Oh my god, I'm thinking about it now after the fact, but I should have made him ethereal. You know, you click on the right sprite renderer, color, and then you can apply transparency. I should have done that. I will do that when I do the final product where I showcase everything, because I obviously will make every scene look better than they currently do, because otherwise episodes would be too long. And in the final products, I will remember to make him more ghost-like. So once we made him animated super slow, because that's what I want, I put an NPC behind him, which I make him invisible. So now we're gonna be able to put mechanics behind him, a dialogue and stuff happening. So in which order are we gonna do this? So yeah, the reason why I'm using a prefab NPC to do this is because a prefab NPC is basically an empty object with sprites on it, with dialogue script on it, with collider on it, with all. Basically, it's saving time. When I spawn an NPC, it's faster to spawn an NPC and make him invisible than to make an empty object and add all the scripts, is where I'm getting at. So yeah, now we need to create a dialogue for him. I'm just gonna name it like REM 2 Inception. So yeah, REM 2 Inception. You can name it like you will, obviously. Now he already has a portrait. We are lucky. We can go into the sprite characters, and then this one, because he was added later, maybe patch 3 or higher. So he's not part of the initial 3 people. He is part of the later development of the kit. So this is a very nice way to use him. So I'm not gonna give him like a Shakespearean dialogue for now. We will come back to him later. For now, I think I just put like line 1, line 2, because I'm implementing stuff live. By live, I mean this is not heavily edited YouTube videos. You know, this is not like like a PowerPoint with a picture that says we will do this, and then I show you guys the perfect version where there's no mistake. This is not this. This is we do it. I do it as I speak. I speak about the concept. I show you how we implement the concept with Unity with the 2D RPG kit. Then I troubleshoot as I go. So right now I'm even gonna give him like a closing message and stuff. But as the video goes, I'm just gonna end up giving him one line of text. One line of text would be perfect because there is a teleport transaction going on as you speak to him, as you wake up, and having multiple line of text plus a closing message was nonsense. So now I know it because I am after the fact doing an English voiceover. But when I'm doing this, it is live. It's why I say it's why I say that you see mistakes, and this is a good thing because you learn more from mistakes than from success, and that's not something that I made up. That's just something that's like culturally true for thousands of years, and it always has been relevant, and it still is now in every single domain of life. So right now I'm done with the placeholder text for now. So what I want now is to put a trigger that will make us be teleported. So yeah, I guess we're gonna create the teleport because create a trigger, but you don't have a teleport. So the order of things is we make a teleport first. Once again, a lot of teleports in this game. That's okay. We love teleports. So I'm gonna make his collider bigger so that no matter where the player stands when he speaks with him, it's gonna trigger the dialogue line as well as trigger the teleport into Reb's bed. So I'm just gonna configure it. This will lead to room. Room with a capital R is the name where you start the game currently, where you wake up in your bed and your mom turns on the light. We're gonna name it like Inception 2, just because there already is an Inception, so I don't want to use the same name. So this side of the teleport is done. So now gonna go put it in the side of the room before I forget it, because there's so much stuff to do that I'm trying to keep myself one thing at a time. This is a massive episode. It's like 1 hour 20. There was no getting around it without, like I said, making this a heavily edited video, in which case it's a all different format, because then you're not teaching how to troubleshoot. You're just showing how it went for you that one time that had no problem, and that is never gonna happen for anyone else, because every time you boot the damn thing, everything is different. So yeah, I think people would catch up with time with my style of tutorials, that while my videos are longer, they teach so much more if you go through them all. Whatever, we'll see as time go, and I will try to hold up to that. So now we put the teleporter out of the map because we don't want to we just use this particular teleport to appear in the room. Later we'll add a teleport to go back into the dream, but for now, chronologically, we have not made that yet. So now that the teleport are on both sides, we can put the trigger so that it's gonna do something. But just before, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put a 5-second transition. I want to let people have some time to read before they get warped into the other scene. But actually it's only really affecting the black screen time, I think. I don't think it's delaying the teleportation itself. But you can play around that value to see how long you want the blackness to be. So now we did create the dialogue, but we did not assign it. So now I'm gonna put RAM2 Inception in his slot. So from here on, we're gonna look at this bad boy. We see there are multiple unactivate and undialogue start things, and as the video goes, I'm gonna end up configuring them properly. As always, you guys in English are lucky because I tell you in advance when things went wrong, and I'm saying you now a lot of things are gonna go wrong, and it's why the video is long, but everything gets fixed. So I just tell you guys in advance, if you see stuff like, oh my god, this is so wrong, or you're like screaming, I know what's wrong, you idiot, just be patient. Maybe I will fix that in 5 minutes in the video. Okay, so now that I done that, hopefully you followed visually as I speak over myself sometimes. right now I removed one line because I'm like, you know what, I put 5 seconds in, which is more than enough, but still I want you to read the one line and just one good line. So I'm gonna say in in English what I said is basically, well, you see it in the thumbnail. It says, I should have been the one that stayed home tonight or that night. So basically what looks like your twin is saying, like, is projecting to you. Well, it's a dream, so you're projecting him by yourself, but let's not get nuts. Basically you really feel like your brother must hate you. You feel guilt for him having an accident that night, which we did not say what it was or anything. Let's leave some room for mystery and for customizing your own backstory. Otherwise I think after when you fall into the cave and you're like, you got bullied in the street, you got this weird high-tech house, like clearly this is barely a realistic place for you, because Israel biome, is the village from the demo game, and now he's like in this Japanese city, in this futuristic building. He falls in a grot, in a cavern. He fights his mother, then he sees his dead twin. Like, what is going on? So now we're gonna test for the first time, and you see it teleports us, and you see the 5-second wait time. But then I press Z again, and it speaks to him again. So like, oops! First troubleshooting step, we notice that we need to make something closing the dialogue and not a repeatable dialogue. Then if you press on Z, it will not repeat. So yep. So now we're in the demo, and you see, aside from the glitch there was, we have fully transitioned into the demo. So it works. We just need to close the dialogue as we transition. And also you see the double frame. We can also deal with this easily with trigger. Or there's a lot of ways you could even do, because this was a cutscene. Remember the script we had? Game manager, we had condition while battle is active, remove collider and put player on default layer. This is why I got different battles than you guys, different battle areas. Well, in that same paragraph of code, I'm telling you right now, you can just add if cutscene put player on you do the same thing. You put it on default, and when the cutscene is off, you put it back on. And the logic is already in place, so you just have to add one line of code to the thing. It's a joke to fix, but now after the fact, I'm telling you that. But when I'm doing a video, I'm like, how am I gonna fix that? There are so many ways, but which way is gonna make me look the less bad? So I was just like, you know what? It's not important. But I'm telling you now, and I will show you properly in another video when I show the final product. I will show all the little details that I didn't want to waste time on. So now while I am in the demo, I'm showing you one of the problems that would arise in this what if scenario, in which we would go full inception and we would actually be okay with fusioning the kit with our game. I'm totally fine with it, but I'm just saying, I guess it's not everyone that's like very willing to do that, but whatever. At least you guys see in this episode as a what if, and that's good enough for me, that you see the concept, you see it happening, and it could inspire you to do whatever into your game. So now what I'm basically saying is that, look, we could let Hollis there. The problem is that when he reaches the point where you will want to join your team, it will cause a real problem, because then you already have a party member one and you want to add another one. I don't think good things will happen from that. So the easier way is just to click on both. Well, you could just go in the dialogue 2, which my French counterpart did not select, and in dialogue 2 you uncheck the join party member, so he just would be there like as a, hey, this is my house, so that's why you see me, what's up dude. Yeah, I'm totally staying with you, but yeah, you do see me because you're in my house, and that's all fine. But me, I did not do that. I just deactivated both items. So the dialogue 2 here, and the Hollis deactivator thing. Both of them, in a few seconds, I'm gonna uncheck the inspector thing and they will be deactivated. So there goes away the entire conflict of having two Hollis, and there is not a single problem with our episode. However, as I will say later in the episode, when at the very end, there is something, because the events are in a certain order. So let's say you want to cheese the game, you want to you want to give the mother the magic truffle right at the beginning because you got it with Hollis in the grotto, in the cavern. Well, you won't be able to do that unless we rewire manually the event from the demo, and then it's very easy, we can do it. Otherwise, without touching it, without doing anything about it, it's not gonna happen by itself. It's what I'm getting at. You need to rewire the event manager for you to be able to proc to trigger the end screen credits by giving the magic truffle. Otherwise, she will wait for you to get Hollis in the team, because in the chain of event there is the quest to get Hollis. I hope you understand what I'm saying, and it's very simple. So right now I'm going over I'm showing you what comes with the demo game, because these are scenes that I did not create, so you are not familiar with them unless you already took time to play around the demo kit. So now I'm showing you what Arjum did basically. So I'm saying, like, this REM sleeping is just an object, like a create empty object where you slide a sprite on the screen, like we do all the time. It's an object and it's just over right there. So right now we see the double of REM because I am in a Unity environment, because I did not go through the title screen, so I did not go through that's why you see 2 REM at this moment. But when I zone out of the dream into his bedroom, that's a different story. There, the reason why you got 2 REM is because I am not respecting what's in place, and I would need to rewire something very simple. Or you don't have to, you can just cheese it and hide him manually, and otherwise, like I say, there's always 100 ways to do things. Maybe 5 of them are very smart, the other 990 something ways are like meh. So you're not always gonna think about the smartest way. A lot of times you just do things, you get an idea, okay, I can move on with this ID, you move on with the ID, and then that's it. You come back later with more knowledge. So right now I'm showing you the complete event. I'm saying basically what I said about Hollis and everything. There's a chain of event in the demo kit, and if you run the game live like I do now, you see element 1, 2, 3 are already checked, and this is why I can go out and in of the room and REM's mother is not responding every time. It's because the chain of events says element 1, which I guess is REM's mother opens the light. I'm just guessing here, maybe it's element 2. So it's stuff like that. So also I'm saying, like, we can put element like, oh, what if I don't want anti-hero to respawn all the time? Where you would create element 38, name it something, and then in a completed eventing, on the you would need to add in the scene where the guy is something that is referencing that event, and in it you would say if that event is completed. So basically, on the battle target of the anti-hero, you would need to mark event as completed, and then a check will appear in the list, and from there on it will not respawn. I hope you understood what I'm saying. It's very simple. So now I'm looking again. Look, the event manager, it's just like a quest manager. It's the same interface, it's just more flexible because you're not limited to quest stuff. You can do stuff like release player, and that's not like questy, that's a common eventy, because there's a common event script. When you right click, you can add as a powerful component. So yeah, if you're not sure about that component, I will use it in this episode. Otherwise, Arjum made a very good guide about it on his YouTube. So now that French me is more hydrated than a capybara, I place the screen back, and now we're gonna do in sort that we can use this bed to teleport back into the into our Japanese city and to play our old thing again. Now I'm showing you what I said earlier. This is just a sprite object that's on top, so we can totally put the invisible NPC that when you talk to him is gonna trigger a dialogue choice. So now we enter the dialogue choice tutorial, in fact, because we will set up the tutorial choice that do you really want to go back there, like yes or no. If you do no, it has to close the dialogue and you stay there, and if you say yes, it has to teleport you back into the Japanese city with Anti-Hero and Mustache Man. You have to understand that a lot of things will go wrong implementing all of this, and I will fix them all. You just have to be patient. Just pity the poor French audience that are like doing modification at the same time than me, and they must be like, oh, he's changing it again, oh, again. So at least you guys, you have a heads up. Like the problem that I will face, the biggest problem is so simple. It's just that I was like a bit overwhelmed by the amount of UI problems, because I will fall upon a UI thing that I'm pretty sure it's a very simple fix, but I just have not much experience in UI stuff, and I did not want to waste 10 or 15 minutes of you guys, so I just like, we're gonna leave it there and we're gonna fix it in the next episode, because then off camera I can use as much time as I want, if I have time at all, which is not much the case, as I'm currently doing this voiceover at 2:45 a.m. Oh la la. And tomorrow I have to go, I have a lot of stuff to do. So okay, so now I'm starting the dialogue choices, since I placed the NPC and I move this collider to be so large that you can talk to the bed from anywhere to speak to him, basically. Also, I don't know if I did it yet, but I put a dialogue in him so that we can say like, do you want to sleep, my dude? Something like that. So I'm just waiting to synchronize with my French counterpart. Oh yeah, he's saying like, basically I'm preparing all the tools, because you know, I'm preparing a teleport, the teleport that would lead back to the Japanese city. I prepared the NPC, I prepared this dialogue, and you must be like, dude, why are you doing all of these things at the same time? So my French counterpart is saying, you need to understand, this is like if you work in a workshop or whatever, and you're like, okay, these are my tools, these are my LED cable, these are my whatever your job is. You place stuff on the table, and then okay, with all these tools I can make something. This is the same principle, but in IT, I don't use the good words in English, I'm sorry, but in virtual work, like coding is something that is virtual, right? It's where I'm not in a physical environment on a table with tools, so all the tools are virtual. Teleport is a tool, guys. As a game developer, it's one of your tools and stuff like that. So just imagine having a virtual tool belt with all your knowledge attached to it, and you take it like tools to do jobs, and the more you do it, the faster you get. So this is why teaching makes you better, because you're forced to do it. So I named the teleport Inception 4, because honestly I'm not sure of the count at this point, but it's not important, because now we need to put the other end of the teleport, and after that we will configure the details. So on this end we put what is hopefully the last teleport, right? Because this is the one to return there. So yeah, this is officially the last teleport of the episode. That's a lot of teleports, but it will work, and it will be glorious. So this teleport, we don't want him to step on it, so I put it outside of the map. What's important is just where he's gonna spawn, where he's gonna appear. So I'm gonna put him on the bench, because that's very appropriate, you know, like he wakes up when you start the game. this scene, it's like you're in a dream, like you're sitting on a bench, there are the beginner chest right next to you. It's very appropriate. The startup gear is in there, but later in the episode you will see that I will show you how to change the order of the scenes in the game, because currently when you do new game and you choose easy, normal or hard, it puts you in the same the scene named room. But what we want is the game to start in scene numero 1, which is the Japanese city, and when we do that, the place where the player spawn will be affected, and then I will show you guys how to fix it, and it will work. First try this one. So right now I'm trying to put a trigger on the I'm saying look at this the trigger teleport from the other place. You can just put a disable the player when you get there, and or disable or whatever. I'm just showing you that you can put triggers everywhere basically. But now what we want to do is to do the dialogue choices. So sorry if I was doing all the mechanical parts before, but it's important to get all the mechanical parts out of the way first. So we got the teleport out of the way and stuff. So now we can attack the UI. And I say attack because the UI is a wild beast, and is a beast that UI and animation stuff are the two things that I spent the less time so far learning, but I am learning every week, and I'm getting better. And that's why I'm not saying like, oh, Flying Realms will release in 2 months. No. I'm giving myself like a full freaking year to be a better animator and stuff like that. But that doesn't prevent me from teaching you guys every single thing in making a game, except how to make a good animation. I can teach you all the rest, but good animation, I don't mean sprite stuff. I mean with the animator and the timelines. I think those are cancer, but I will get better, and I will show them as well. But for now, we need to make this dialogue, and we need to make a portrait. But that was a bad idea, because we don't need a portrait for here, you know. I got this habit because I made I know why. It's because I have over 400 different NPCs in my Feline Realms game, simply because the asset pack I took was like 400 different NPC. So I like triage them into the 200 most beautiful NPC, most unique ones. But at some point you run out, because the scope creep makes you make the game bigger and bigger and bigger. So I end up using all freaking 400 NPC, almost. It's not actually true. There are some variations that are like, you know what, this variation is very lame compared to the others. I'm not gonna force it in the game just for the fact to be there. So maybe I got 300 something NPC. Point is, it's become an automatism when I create NPCs, like, oh my god, I need to create a portrait. But that was an automatic mistake, because you don't need a portrait for a bed, for a simple fact that you're not having a conversation with it. You can just click, you talk to the bed, the chat will appear. Do you want to sleep? Yes, no. You don't need to have a portrait on top of already seeing the bed, is where I'm getting at. So hopefully you guys are not friends, so you did not waste a lot of time making a portrait for the bed while it makes the game look worse, because the game look better without a portrait for the bed. I'm just saying, I noticed that as I rewatch the video, like, oh my god, why I put a portrait there? This is a bad habit. And I noticed my mistake very fast, because mistakes jump to my eyes when I look the videos after. I'm like, oh my god, poor French people, they're like the cobaye. Wow, I don't know the name in English, sorry. So right now I just put I just named the NPC like Rem's bed, and the chat says, do you really want to go through this all over again? So now the UI will jump in my face, and I tell you guys, it's a scary thing. This is badly configured, and an error message will pop at the bottom of the screen. Bam, right there. Parent of rect transform is being set with a parent property. Consider using a set parent method instead. All big words from Artjum high level computing stuff that I am not exactly 100% sure the problem. This reminds me of a whole local or world thing, but it it has to do with the interface trying to be compatible with all platforms, because there is mobile, there is TV, and in the scripts there are things in place that says like, oh, check if it's width or large or whatever. There's something somewhere that is badly configured, but until then, let's just work on the mechanics. So while we put trigger, what we want is those triggers plus another trigger that my French counterpart will notice later. Because if you don't have a trigger on the no choice when you select no, it does not close the dialogue. You're still into it. So that's weird. I had never used the dialogue choices before in that manner. So now it's why I found out how they work, and you need to close the NPC. Even if you do yes or no, you need to drag the own NPC and set object active to turn it off. Otherwise, no matter you select yes or no, the chat will stay on screen, and that's such nonsense. But it's how coding is. It's just how the computer reads it. So you need to adapt to the computer, because the computer will not adapt to you. So basically, you put the right triggers like I did. So you see now I did like my best with no advanced UI troubleshooting, because this is about UI troubleshooting. The red code at the bottom. So since there is a problem with the UI that procs a problem, me modifying it is kind of a waste of time, because there's just a checkbox somewhere that needs to be clicked, and by the time I learn what checkbox it is, I will have moved all the stuff around. So I don't recommend you guys to change this until I come with a solution in the next episode. I sent a message to the developer, but he is obviously in a different time zone, so one day he will wake up because we're not in the same side of the planet. So besides that, I'm still gonna try some stuff, but my French counterpart will lose a lot of time. But so you guys don't bother doing any of this. It works as it is. Our job will tell me what thing to check. Everything will be fixed. I will tell it in the next episode. So don't waste time screwing around the UI if, like me, you're not a UI professional. Me, what I like to do is do it on my own time. I can take a whole hour trying everything, and I will find it, and then I will be very proud of the result. But improvising in real time, when I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my god, this episode is already 40 minutes deep. We did not even start testing the whole Inception demo thing, and we need to play after testing it. Like, no, there's no way I'm gonna learn the intricacies of the dialogue choice box UIs, because the first time I used them, and it's why they're not configured, because I think himself must not have used them much, because it's by default it was not configured. There's a yellow message at the bottom is what I mean. So yeah, French me is gonna play around. Basically, French me is gonna learn how it works in a very tedious way by checking all the checkbox and seeing what affects what, and I'm gonna get an understanding of it. And now from watching it, from watching the wave video in French, as I put timestamp and stuff, I noticed, oh my, I see now visually, now that I'm not busy teaching and doing all that, I see it's so simple. I just needed to resize like the right side, but still at the end of the day, don't worry, next episode I'll come with a fix for that UI thing right from the developer, because this looks terrible. I can't believe this is normal. It's clearly a little checkbox that scales the size to what's going on. And if you zoom out the scene, you will notice that it's exactly the same width than the camera. Exactly, the chat box is the same width than the white rectangle of the camera. So it's just somewhere that says use the entire thing, and it must not use the entire thing. It's a simple checkbox. But look at this on the left. It's what I meant by it's a big spaghetti ball. Like, dude, I could find it. Am I gonna find it now while we're getting late in this episode? So like, no way, Jose. Let's just put it on the right like that for now. So I show you guys until I come up with a solution. Me, I just put it there. I check every single thing like a moron. It's like, you know what? I do all this and it looks the better so far of all the dumb thing I tried. Let's just move on. This is serviceable enough for the purpose of the tutorial. At least you know that it's not supposed to look like this. So let's just move on. And, so now, yeah. I'm trying if my triggers and everything work by now, because we put triggers to close the chat and stuff. Do you really want to go yes or no? So this works. Am I gonna do yes or no? The suspense is building up. The suspense is killing us. So now the French counterpart is explaining basically what I just said. The whole consider using set parent method and blah blah blah, the world position stays argument set to false. So like I said, one of the checkbox local world or something to that nature is off, and I don't have an hour to spend to find it in this labyrinth of madness. So yeah, I just asked the master himself, and he will take 30 seconds to tell me where it is instead of me wasting an hour, and that's why I just moved on in the video. So now we see that, okay, while everything works, the damn text is still open, and then it breaks, and then it breaks, and then it breaks some more. So we need to put a proper trigger to close the dialogue. So now I'm gonna do right that. Because you're not supposed to be teleported while you speak, and that's where the problem comes from. So now, since we create this whole problem of wanting, now we have to solve it by putting a trigger that closes the NPC containing the dialogue. So now I think I'm fooling around with the teleport script, but I'm not even sure that that's a good one. Honestly, it's pretty late. I'm still gonna put, I think, the NPC in there and put set bull active to off, just as a like let's try this out. But I'm just telling you guys in advance, it's actually gonna be into the dialogue choice triggers. The dialogue choice triggers, both the yes and the no option, need to have a close NPC dialogue, because currently it's why when you do yes, there still is the dialogue open in the Japanese city. It's because it's missing a very simple trigger. So very shortly I will fix this trigger, and then we will get into the last parts of the video, which will be different. So now you see I did yes, dialogue said did not close. So I guess that's about now that my guy oh yeah, this is where you see the big brain, the thinking lady meme on the right side of the screen, because this is where I finally notice, like, oh my god, all the time I was just missing a little trigger here. So into the dialogue choices, you need to add, like I said, the same trigger than on the no choices, a trigger that will close the dialogue. I was assuming that the dialogue would close by itself. I was just not expecting that, but now that I know, obviously, every single time I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be obvious to me. Dialogue choices, yeah, don't forget to put the triggers to close both of them. This was the first time I was doing dialogue choices, because while I created all the dialogues for the 300 something NPCs, I did not create dialogue choices yet, because it was very exhausting to create all those NPCs and stuff. So the dialogue choices will come now that I learned them. Basically that's basically it. You know, I'm being honest. It's not like it was hard. I would have learned them anyway. It's just that circumstances. That's a hard word. The circumstances just made it that I learned it live with you guys right now, and I discovered that there's a UI bug in the dialogue choice at the same time that everyone. So we will fix it all together next episode. So now that the trigger works, like you see, finally it worked. Finally all the trigger are closing the dialogue, so we can fully transition everywhere. We fixed everything, so now we're gonna be able to do the first test playthrough. of the inception concept, you know, doing the old Japanese city, where you're clearly in a futuristic city. You go into the building, you fall in a cavern, you fight your mother, like what's up with that, and you see your brother or something, and then you wake up in your bed. So now we're gonna be able to try to play that in one sitting, and we will discover the problems, obviously. Then I will fix them very fast, because there are very little problem at this point, very little problem. And then for the rest of the video, it's gonna be actually the other super playthrough, where it's gonna be full circle. We're gonna do it all. So right now I'm explaining the title screen, because when you go into the title screen, you click on Canvas, you see the title screen script is attached. This is the script that says the new game. When you select a new game, is gonna be Room. So that's with the demo, guys. A lot of you are probably like, oh my god, that's where it is. Yes, that's where it is. So me, for this concept of inception thing, I don't want to start in the room. I want to start in the Japanese city, because I want our game, when you start a new game, to start in a dream. Then after the dream, when you beat your mother and you see your twin brother, your dead twin brother or whatever, then you wake up in the actual demo with your mother, and you're like, oh my god. You look in your inventory, your stuff is still there, so this was not a dream, and you're basically freaking out. Is the whole concept. So like I said, I'm gonna do a first playthrough. In this first playthrough, we're going to see the very little problems. Actually, the only problem there will be is that the very end. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because it's so silly, and it's so sad that it happened at the very end. Like, oh, you're kidding me, we have to do everything just for that. But I left it in there, because like I said, I leave the errors in, because then you see the problem. So right now, before we get into that, we need to, since we changed the starting scene, we're now starting inside of a wall. Because we're not starting in a room anymore. We're starting right in the middle of the camera of that scene, which happens to be in the middle of a wall. So right now we're going to have to accommodate for that. So we're gonna have to change where we spawn in that scene. So it's a very simple process. We just have to go in the scene. Yeah. So once you're in that scene, because you look visually first, the camera is where RAM was. So the behavior of Unity, since this was solid layer, you spawn inside a solid layer. It's like, oh, player can move on his spawning layer, sure. So you can move inside inside what you see now that is green. You can move inside the solid layer. So you're stuck there. So we cannot have the game starting broken. This is bad. So we make a common events with the right click menu. In the common events, there is a lot of powerful things, but the one that interests us right now to fix this problem is to do a transposition of the player. So basically a very basic translation, like you took a ruler and a pen. Let's move 10 to the left and 5 up to appear on the green dot instead. And just doing that is going to change where the player spawns, and it's going to fix this problem. So that was the only problem, aside from the one at the very end. It's why I'm doing it before we even start, because I click on let's start, guys. I click play, we appear in a wall. Yeah, that's why we troubleshoot. So I just look, I put my player start at the same place just to see the coordinates. So now I'm just gonna put the same coordinates there, basically. Very simple stuff. And once the coordinates are there, in the common events manager, when we enter that scene, we're not going to be inside of the wall, or maybe we will be for a milli fraction of a second, but what's important is that we will be there, and we will be moving, and everything will be working as intended, because this is one of the purpose of this component. And we make it face player down, because we're sitting on a bench. We want the dream to start like the REM. Oh, that's a funny thing. It's called REM. REM is rapid eye movement, which is the deep state of sleeping. Without even wanting it, my old Inception episode concept based on REM, but his name REM. I think that's a wonderful coincidence. Whatever. Let's move on. So now that I fixed the problem, I mentioned a few things that are still imperfect in this scene. Like for example, we got this crow on the left, but he's like doing unplaced flying. He's not going left to right. So me, I would just remove him or make him fly. And then another thing I will mention right there is that currently we put the other crow is flying in front of the vending machine. That's a very bad idea, because then when you're buying a soda, it will start a battle. You're still in the machine, you can finish buying your soda, but it's still something annoying. So me personally, I would change his patrol pattern just so that he don't collide with the player while the player is purchasing. This is just a game dev decision, or you can put him there and like, if you want to use the machine, you better be fast, otherwise you're gonna have a battle. So that too could be fun. Really up to you guys to play around how you want. But another thing I'm saying is the enemy placement. Because one of the early crow, I think we look like we're on a roof or something. That means the crow should not be placed there. The crow is breaking the fourth wall. So now we're gonna attack the boss just to have his key. The whole point is to go fast, because we want his key just to go talk to Mustache Man, so he unlocks the door, so we can fall in the cave, so we can get Hollis, so we can beat Mother, so we can speak to Rem 2, so we can appear back in the demo and then go back into the dream. So we can really test all ways of this works, this inception thing. So right now the boss is beating me pretty hard, but it's okay. I'm gonna take a potion, I'm gonna silence him, I'm gonna get a few lucky hits, and we will be on our way without having to level up more than 3. Because I did not drag the invisible battle area, you know, both in the scene and in the cavern. I just put them outside of the scene because they hide everything with red. It's annoying, but I forgot to put them back. But it's okay, because this is not like this is not final product. What we want is to go fast, so we don't want annoying visible missions to go fast. Not missions, enemies. So now we go see Mustache Man for the first time. So he says his normal things. Then we speak to him again. He's gonna be very happy and give us a shield. And then we're like, oh, thank you for the shield, Mr. Mustache Man. Why didn't you give it earlier, you sadistic man? Now we try to leave. Oh, the door is locked. This is bullshit, Larry David. So you talk to him and he opens the door because you followed the episode and you dig like me. So now we're going this all way. Don't I wish there were NPCs or something, or some particle effect. I wish I had time to do more stuff. And then I fall in a hole. This is terrible. This is madness. So now we did not put any text to him yet. We don't care. This is about checking the mechanics of the thing. The final product, I will obviously work the text and stuff. So for now, I just want to see, do you still break the rock, mister? Yes, he broke the rock. Now he's in our team. So let's give him some gear and try to attack Mother, shall we? Well, grab some gear, then kill the crows, because he's level 1. Let's make him level 3 at least. And equip that super gear. So now it's time to spank some crows. You guys have the sound off when I do a playthrough. It's a shame because you don't hear all the sound effect. But it's life, because I cannot leave the sound on with the French voice while I speak. They do that on TV. You listen to Discovery Channel or whatever. Well, if you live in a purely English country, you won't know. But if you don't live in an English country, you always hear like the French or whatever, and then you hear the English on top. It's like, why do you do this? Why don't you like mute the thing? It's because they did not separate the audio, the songs. So it's all stuff like that. So it's same for me. The reason why you don't have the audio is because I would need to separate the audio of the game from the microphone channel, and then you're just making me work a whole lot more. And why? I don't think there's a good reason to make me work that much more. I already worked very, very hard, guys. So now that we beat the crow and we see Rem is standing on a chest, which is a fixable thing, you can make the layer of the top of the chest to be more foregroundish, so that Rem will not look like he's stepping on it. So now we're gonna attack Mother. But Mother has not been nerfed yet. At this point in the video, my French counterpart did not nerf Mother yet. So when I said, you know, at the very end of the video, something goes wrong, it's not that she beats us. We will beat her. that's not even a problem. We were just gonna, as an extra fixer, to make her less powerful, because right now she has so much armor class that we are making very low damage to her. So basically we have to make the poison work on her. So the strat here is just to cast poison, then refresh silence every 2 turns, and heal myself in between, and when you have time to attack, well, good. Otherwise, I'm not doing much in the current state. But after the battle, I will nerf her by removing her armor. Simply, instead of having like 7 armor, she'll have 0. So she will take slightly more damage. It will be more balanced this way. In a way, boss balancing is something you do on your own. I always speak about balancing and stuff like you guys were really point for point putting the same numbers than me. I don't think many people are doing that. I think people all have their own project with their own skin and their own asset, but I hope that you do get something out of the guide, like, oh, this one thing I wasn't sure, I'm glad to see how another person is doing it, or something like that. I hope that you're getting something out of this outside than just nostalgia of, oh, this kit is cool, I remember it. That's cool too, but I mean, I hope that you're learning something, because this particular series, the whole goal is to learn. But I do intend to perhaps make something more fun, maybe another series, not something hard to do, something like some form of let's play, maybe playing my favorite games once in a while, just something different, but not something that's gonna be anytime soon, because I want to finish this story, this series completely. In a way, in maybe 10 days I have an operation, and I'm gonna be pretty much incapacitated for multiple days. So yeah, I'm trying to get as much work as I can until then, and hopefully I'll be able to finish the series either before my operation, or finish enough of it that when I come back from the operation I'll be able to make 1 or 2 final episodes, to close that show before moving on to the Mega Man game and other stuff. So right now we see the problem while I was speaking is that her battle thing is not set up. I forgot to click single battle, so as soon as I beat her, she spawned again. It's like, no, we went through all of that, we beat her, we just had to speak to the guy in the cave and we would have been done. And no, sadly she respawned right on us because I forgot to check single battle. So now French counterpart is gonna have to do everything all over again. But before I do that, I'm fixing stuff. So like right now, I put her armor at 0, I should probably nerf her some more, but who cares? Because normally you're gonna have the invisible battle area and you're gonna kill monsters, you're gonna have a few more level ups. When I create more items, so perhaps you're gonna have more items, and as you level up, you also gain more skills, so you get like a blaze higher level that does more damage, or so, nerfing her too much is not necessarily a good thing. You want her to be a traumatizing enemy. But whatever. So now I'm looking like, it says got item magic truffle, but there was some weird thing going on where the truffle was still in my pocket. I think it's just weird behavior, Unity. I'm just gonna move on, because honestly the check is there, it's supposed to take it. It's just this episode was a 3-parter. The cavern, it's why there was a mistake in the BattleArea of the mother, because the episode was just so long. At some point you're bound to do a mistake. So the mistake was forgetting to activate to make it a single battle. So now that I nerfed her, I made the thing single battle. So right now let's just fake that it seems the same game. I just beat her, yeah. Then I go there. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. Just wait up. Sorry for the synchronization. Like, hey, what is going on here? I should have been the one that stayed home that night. So you go there, and we still have not fixed that rem. It's very easy to fix. but whatever, I just leave it there for now because I think it's funny that you're seeing yourself, you know, like out of body experience. So yeah. So once that is done, let's see what I'm going to do, because usually I've got timestamps, but you know, when you go past the 1 hour mark, timestamps start to act weird. So I just don't have timestamps past 1 hour mark. So right now I'm showing you, I don't know why I'm showing you honestly, because I need to do it again. We don't have Hollis in our team. Yeah, look, you see Hollis is not there. So I'm not sure what the French counterpart is doing. I think I'm just basically showing that something. Oh yeah, I'm looking over the event and order. So I think now I'm gonna go to the shop to see the original OG Mr. Mustache Man. Oh no, I go see Hollis and I show you, look, Hollis is not there. But anyway, he's not in our team. But we deactivated him anyway. So right now my French counterpart is finally realizing what English me realized a few minutes ago. Like, what are you doing? You need to do this again so that we can enter the demo game with Rem and your team, to prove that the inception is real, that we can carry over from a world to another and connect both worlds, connect the demo with our game. And basically, guys, if someone had motivation, maybe I'll do it one day, we could all connect our projects through an online vanilla demo kit. We could all put our houses, which would be links to our inception games, to links to our games on the world map, and we could visit each other's games and stuff. It just would need multiplayer coding and then setting. There would need to be work to be done. I'm just saying that the idea, I think it's amazing that we could build up the community of the game in a Mario Maker way, in the way that you can. But yeah, now it's getting complicated, because then stuff have to be released on the server side, so you need to send the build of your game to the person hosting the server and stuff. You know, it's all doable. I'm just saying that it would be very complicated, but it would be so fun. Maybe when the community is bigger, you know. Hopefully this video series of mine will help bring people into it, and hopefully at some point the community will be big enough that we can actually do a real project like that. So right now I'm redoing the entire demonstration of clearing or what we have of our game so far, and then going into the demo to make this this themed episode into this what if scenario, before we move on the next episode, where we will change the magical effects. Once we change the magical effects, we'll be able to use them in the world. So like when Hollis blows up the rock, we'll be able to put explosion visual, if we find a free one, of course, and stuff like that. And we're able to reskin, create new items, a lot of stuff, cover deeper the event manager system. There's still a couple more things that we need to do before we can say like, oh my god, we really covered everything this kit has to offer. There's still a few more things. But right now, this episode, since this like episode 16, it's like halfway, if not even more, of this particular RPG series. I mean, of the core of it. You know, like I'm gonna put out a certain amount of episodes, let's say 25, I don't know, and then once we're there, I'll stop for a while, because then I will implement in my own game the stuff like the dialogue choices and all the stuff that I did not implement yet, that I learned with you guys as I demonstrate the kit, as I build this game. So then once that is done, I will have upgraded my entire game, and then we're like, okay, let's move to the next thing. I want to implement that thing. I'm not gonna break my game. I'm gonna test it on this game, and I'm gonna make a video every time like, oh, implementing that game and that feature into the kit. And then so the tutorial series, we will push a few more episodes as I complete Feline Realms, you know. Otherwise I will start the Mega Man series in between. You know, I will not alter my life entirely until I'm done with the RPG kit. I will start the Mega Man series as well, but it will be shorter, a lot shorter, a very lot shorter, because a lot of the things that I taught you in this series, you already learned them from watching the 2D RPG kit. I don't need to teach it again into the Mega Man series. I don't need to teach you again what is a scene, how to duplicate a scene, what is build settings. You see what I'm getting at, guys? So let's say it takes me 25 episodes to teach you the 2D RPG kit fully. Well, maybe 10 of those episodes are purely Unity episodes, you know? So the Mega Man series, there's no way it's gonna be more than like 10 episodes or something. There's no way that I will have stuff to teach you that you have not already learned into the 2D RPG kit. A lot of stuff, but I mean, because it's gonna be a different game. It's gonna be a platformer on the side scroller, you know, and a very different type of game, action pack. You know, you press on buttons, there's stuff coming out of your weapon, you change weapon, so it's not like time pauses, a player chooses an action, so it's not time based, turn based. So it's gonna be very different way of thinking when you design, because now you're not designing a narrative. You're not making some obscure nightmare of a child beating his angry mother and his dead twin. No, you make a game that's supposed to be physically fun, like slapsticky fun or whatever the type of fun that you like. It's not gonna be narrative based, is where I'm getting at. RPG are basically narrative based game. I know everyone is trying to make them into action games, but that's why there's a section called action RPG and a section called turn-based RPG. Me, I really like turn-based RPG, honestly. When I play even Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, whatever, I don't play that in real time. That's bullshit. I put that in turn-based. Otherwise, it's not Final Fantasy. Otherwise, it's like something else, something that I don't care about at all. So to each his own. I'm an old boomer, you know. I'm 40 years old, so for sure I grew up with Super Nintendo and Nintendo games. For sure, I don't care about the new stuff. That's a personal opinion. It's my loss. It's okay. But those guys working in 3D, they're not gonna teach you how to do the sprite stuff. So you're gonna have to come to me anyway to learn the sprite stuff, and I will continue into the sprite stuff to get better at it. Mega Man game is also sprite, but I'm not sure. I think it's a different. It might be a sprite or the ones with bones, skeletons. I'm not sure the words. We'll see when we get there. One project at a time. So right now, as I'm keeping up with my French guy, because my French guy right now, I invite you guys. If you do speak French, listen this video in French, this part, because I'm shot calling the fight like super action pack, almost like a football caller. But in English, I was talking about other things, and you know it's very late. I'm not gonna shot call at 3:30 a.m. at this point. 3:26 a.m. This is absurd. I have to put my kid to school in like 3 hours. Where would I sleep in that? I probably won't sleep. I don't have time to sleep. How can I do YouTube and have a child and work and sleep? You have to give something up. So yeah, sleep it is. Sleep is overrated. Sleep is for people that have so much money that they don't need to work. So now we're beating Mother, and you'll notice that she's losing more health, slightly more, like 6 instead of 4 and stuff like that, because I removed the little armor she had. She only had like 5 armor value. We put her at 0, so now at least she's a lot more realistically beatable. And this time she won't. She's a single battle. She's not gonna respawn in her face and ruin the whole thing. That's so salty. So now we go into the cavern. So prepare yourself for some major voice acting. Nani? It's me. It's me. So it should have been me. It should have been me. And then you wake up. Just imagine that Rem is not visible, and I fix it. You wake up. Your mother just turns on the light. You're like, "What? Didn't I just kill you? What the fuck is going on?" Oh, big word. Sorry. What the heck is going on? Then you wake up. You're like, "All right, what's going on? Wait, why does it hurt so much?" And you open your pockets, and you're like, What? I'm level 11. I got a weapon plus 15. So none of that was a dream. Is this the dream? What is even reality? Wow, so now we can basically move between worlds. You can reskin it like you want. Now we use the whole sleeping thing. Just reskin the bed into a space portal. And now you move between the dark universe and the normal universe. And in the dark universe, you can assign Rem 2 with the dark hair. You know, like in Star Trek, the evil Kirk and the good Kirk, and so on. You can do the right same thing right with this episode of mine right now, just by reskinning stuff. It's what I'm trying to communicate. I think the concept of what I've done now, of making a game, but then linking the game to another game and telling you guys you can reskin that into multiple universes. We can make this online even. This is insane. The potential, if I express myself properly, of course. I know I expressed it clearly many times over in French. I just have to trust what little English knowledge I have to hope that I conveyed properly what I was trying to do in this episode. So now we still have to go back into the other world. So, but oh yeah, right now I understand what I'm doing. My French counterpart is saying like there is only one problem that we did not cover, is the whole truffle thing. Because the truffle, I was like, maybe if we speak to her, it's gonna proc the end credit scene, but no, it doesn't. And then I realized, oh yeah, right, because the events that Arjam set up are in an order. So you need to do them in an order. You cannot like start the game, give the magic truffle to Mother and have the end credit scene. You're forced to get Hollis in the team. So since we removed Hollis, we would need to modify to rewire the event sequence so that right there we can just give her the thing to finish the game if you want, if you really want to. Otherwise, let's push that to the very end. I suggest pushing the end credits to the very, very end. You just keep that thing in a chest somewhere. It's like, oh, one day I'll finish you. So now, so yeah. So it's very easy things to fix. I'm just telling you guys that chronologically, if you want to really close the show, like, oh, I want to make it all the way to the credit scene, to reach the credit scene without modifying anything right now, you need to go through the events in order. So we will need to rewire the whole Hollis thing so that it bypasses it and we can continue. Very easy fix. But right now I'm showing you that you can go back into this world. Now we can move around between worlds. So like I said, this could be like Dark Universe, you know. You can just, you know, with the common event, you can change the player. You can put Dark Air Rem there. There's so much things that we can do to make this interesting. Or you can even make this about like different people's life. Like, let's say, you know, like in Final Fantasy VIII, sometimes you play as Squall, sometimes you play as Lacuna, whatever his name. You can make sections like this where like, oh, alternate, what are these guys doing? Or like in Final Fantasy VI, you know, so sometimes you play as a thief, sometimes you play as Sabin, sometimes you play as Prince, whatever his name, Edward, whatever, the one with the crossbow. So you can do a lot of stuff with this concept of changing in a common event. And so I hope that you guys really understood the thing, because I put a lot of thinking for a few episodes into this one. I wanted to get it out. It's only always as good as the execution is, so I can only hope that I executed this good enough to convey the potential of the concept and to blow at least one or two person's mind, and hopefully people will try to do that in their project, and they will see that basically makes the game you have right now twice longer right off the bat. But one of the other ways that I did this is because we did not have an overworld yet. We did not have a lot of things, and I was like, do I have to do another painting episode and ask you guys to watch me paint for 2 hours again? Like, there's no way I'm gonna build any kind of audience if I do boring episodes like that. So I was like, you know what, I can teach you guys about the overworld right here. I don't have to make you guys paint anything. You can do you don't need to teach me how to paint. you don't need me to teach you how to paint at this point anyway. It's more about Unity interface. I assume at this point your question remaining are about the event manager, and they're about reskinning, and they're about animations. And so in the next episode we'll cover the magic animation and the reskinning. So we will get less and less new things to speak about, and we will have more and more time spent polishing and doing advanced concept. Because now we're getting to a point where I feel like if you follow the entire thing, you are no longer a total beginner. You are now pretty much the next thing. Just not sure the order of things in English. What is it? Is it novice after intermediary? I don't know. Whatever. You leveled up is where I'm getting at. So now we're gonna try to level you up one last time in the remaining episode. And once you're done leveling up one last time, I think I will be done building the bridge to take you from where you were to where all other game developers are right now. Because there are no developers out there that are doing everything. That's a pipe dream. The developers, they work in very large teams. There are all departments doing only one thing. You can even have, in the extreme case, an entire building floor just with animation people. You have to understand that when we are indie, we have to do 20 jobs at the same time. You're doing PR, you're doing the front end, you're the back end, you're doing quality assurance, you're doing animation, you're doing coding, you're doing concept art, you're doing the editing, you're doing YouTube, you're doing the video, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the whole thing, like let's put the game on Steam, let's deal with that. You're doing localization, you're doing the translation, you're doing... I think you're doing over 20 jobs. It's ridiculous. So right now I'm trying to teach you 20 jobs at a time. And it's why you're like, oh, but you only taught me 19 out of 20 jobs. You're such a bad teacher. You didn't teach me animation. I want you guys to understand how many jobs I'm trying to teach you at the same time. And thank you very much for being along, and I will continue to try my best and to push further into the areas that have been a bit weak, like animation. We'll try to go deeper, but we'll start by the magic and stuff in the next episode, and risking everything, because right now we only have a sword and a shield. Thank you very much for staying until the end of the video. I like to take this time to ask you to please go on Steam and wishlist my game. Also, you can go on Twitch to see me doing some live development occasionally. If you're a super chat or super chatted, you can do additional support on Patreon. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. Those are really what I'm looking after, because I need to reach 500 subscribers to even be able to get some sort of income from YouTube. Until then, I'm doing this all for free. So thank you for subscribing very much.